What's going on, snack cakers? Well, today I'm going to give you 3 stories. No Kohberger. We don't have any Kohberger. Tomorrow I'm going to give you some Kohberger because there is a new document out, and we will go over it tomorrow. It's nothing big. It's just essentially that they are introducing evidence of him being pulled over as some sort of evidence. I have no clue why, but we're going to read it, go over it. Nothing big. That's what we're going to do tomorrow. We're going to maybe have a little Kohberger conversation. Let's just face it, there's no Kohberger news coming out. But I do got 3 stories for you today, and they're all broads doing evil broad shit. I'm JB Gunner, and this is Crime Time. Let's go ahead and get on into it. Let's do it.
Bring it back.
What's going on, everybody? As you guys know, I'm JB Gunner, and this is Crime Time. Good to see you guys again. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. I do got a couple stories for you we are going to be getting into. Before I do, though, I want to say first and foremost, thank you to everybody that supports the channel. Hell, any of my channels, regardless of platform, regardless of method you choose, whether it's Cash App, Patreon, Venmo, PayPal. Truly, these guys, I couldn't have done this for the last 19 years on all these different channels if it wasn't for you, the Gun Squad. I love you guys so much, and if you too find my content valuable, feel free to hit the links down below. Support the channel, man. Join the Gun Squad. While you're on the channel, you can also do this. If you scroll down, you'll see links to some of my other channels. I got my politics channel, my live show channel, my gaming channel, my wrestling channel, all kinds of shit down here. So you guys can check those out. Some of you guys want to know where they are. I guess my links and all my links aren't working right or aren't working correctly. So there you have it. There's some of the shit. You can go check that out right now. But we are going to jump into the first of 3 stories. Let's go ahead and jump on in this. Mom from hell killed son during 3-hour-long beating, leaving him with 1,000 bruises and cuts. You gotta love the moms. So it's so funny because whenever we talk about men and women, in this community, the men are automatically considered the bad guy. When something happens to a kid, before people blame the mom, they always say, oh, it's probably the stepdad that did it, you know. Because all of us men are clearly rapists and child molesters and killers and all of that good stuff. That's why it tickles my tummy when I see stories like this that's just nothing but stupid bitches doing stupid bitch shit. And let's just be honest. I want to tell you this, that when it comes to the abuse of children, physical abuse as in beating or killing, more times than not, it's the mom that did it. That's statistically a fact. But let's go ahead and get on in here. A Seattle mother has been accused of beating her teen son to death so viciously she left 1,000 bruises and cuts on his body. Denia Young, I wonder what this superstar is going to look like, allegedly became enraged with the 14-year-old over his chores and beat him for 3 hours until he stopped breathing on January 30th. The teen died from SIDS, sudden inflammatory response syndrome. What's that, SIRS? According to the medical examiner, which means there was not enough to sustain his heart after he suffered so many injuries. Literally beat him to death. Police say Young waited for 5 minutes after her son stopped breathing before she called 911. She told officers she let the anger get the best of her and lost count of how many times she hit the little motherfucker. The boy suffered at least 1,172 separate injuries. Do you know how much you had to fuck somebody up for him to suffer that many injuries? During the abuse, per King 5's reporting, she is accused of beating the teen with an HDMI cord. That's crazy. My mom used to beat me with a fucking extension cord and shit when I was a kid. We had extension cords, not HDMI cords. Even after he begged her to stop. Young allegedly told police the boy said he was dizzy several times during the beating, but she thought he was lying. She thought, hey, stop lying, you little motherfucker. 3 young children and another adult were reportedly at the home so she did this in front of her boyfriend, probably, that's probably the other adult, and 3 other children. Young's partner and father of the other children reportedly told police he heard the assault happening but did not intervene. What a pussy. The man allegedly told the police, I didn't want to jump in and then I'm getting jumped on, you feel? I'm not even trying to have that type of day. Damn. He's like, man, this bitch, you don't understand how crazy this bitch is. He reportedly added that in these situations, it is best to mind your business. So it must have been her kid. Young did not have custody of the boy, who had traveled to visit her in August, officials say. Young never returned the boy to his legal guardian. So she didn't even send him back to his home. She is charged with second-degree murder and being held on a $3 million bail. Remember the other day I said that if a woman loses custody of her children, she has to be one of the saddest sacks of shit in the world? And I say that because they don't really take children from women often, especially give it to the dad or whoever. So if you get a child taken from you and you're a woman, I think that there should be extra security to watch over you when you have your kid. Because for you to have lost the kid to begin with, you had to be a super sack of shit. See, in the family courts, 87% of them, custody and child support goes to the women anyway. So men are used to just losing their kids. But women, however, it's rare. You got to be a super dope fiend or a super whore or a super violent person. It's just the truth. And letting him go back there for under any circumstances, she ended up just stealing him and then killing him 4 months later. Crazy.
Mary, a defense attorney went as far today as asking a judge to release this woman from custody, saying she's dealing with the trauma of the loss of her son, the same son who she is accused of beating.
Shit, that bitch said, man, I need to be out of jail and deal with the loss of my baby. Bitch, you're the one that killed him, dummy.
Beating to death for not doing his chores. There's a broken window at the home where police say a mother killed her 14-year-old son. A jail report says the woman told investigators her son did not complete his chores and she was angry. After an hour of beating the boy, police say he went unresponsive and the woman waited 5 minutes before calling 911. The boy went to the hospital where he died. The mother was booked into jail for murder.
Good.
Young, is she intending to come out? Oh, no, Your Honor.
At a bail hearing Friday
the bitch didn't even come out for the bail hearing.
Afternoon, the mother refused to appear in court. Despite that, her public defender argued for her to be released from custody.
Given her limited history, in fact, it appears that she cooperated with law enforcement, and the fact that she has very limited resources, I believe she should be released.
Yeah, some poor Sharkeisha beating her kid to death. And you know that's the case. Her name was Denaya Young. Yeah, it was definitely a Sharkeisha.
Defense attorney said the woman is in grief at the loss of the son she is accused of killing.
I acknowledge the seriousness of these facts, but this also involves a mother losing her son and the significant trauma she's experiencing from that. I also argue there'll be additional trauma on top of that if she's incarcerated.
Police outlined the disturbing attack in a report, saying the woman mercilessly beat her child for an hour, including using an extension cord to spank him.
Ain't that a bitch? Imagine beating, first of all, I couldn't even imagine being in a, you know how long an hour is? An hour? Anybody that's ever did any martial arts training or fighting in a cage will tell you. 5 minutes is long. An hour? No fucking way. That is such a brutal beating.
Extension cords. He struck his head, he lost consciousness, and she continued to beat him, and then failed to call for emergency services.
Neighbors we spoke to said they didn't know the family well and they hadn't seen any issues at the home until now. So we're not naming the woman yet because she hasn't been charged.
Her name is Denaya.
Prosecutors say they expect that to happen by next Tuesday. For now, the judge set bail at $3 million and the woman remains here at King County Jail.
Yeah.
Reporting live in Seattle, Jeremy Harris.
$3 million. That bitch ain't ever getting out. Ever. And nor does she deserve to. Nor does she deserve to. So fuck her. Now it's time to move on to story number 2. We're going to, bride-to-be stabs husband in the neck during furious wedding. I want you to see all the reasons that these women are committing murder and shit. It's always some dumb shit. Like, I'm just being honest. Oh, you didn't plan. We'll get to the wedding one. So the first one was you didn't do your chores. Bride-to-be stabs husband in the neck during furious wedding planning argument. Another reason. A Wisconsin woman allegedly stabbed her boyfriend in the neck over a furious argument about whether to use their home as a wedding venue. Kaylee Branter, at age 22, was arrested last week after attacking the man without warning. Didn't even warn the motherfucker. In their house in Waukesha County on January 29. Officers found the victim, who has not been named, holding a towel to his slashed neck while Banter was sat on a sofa nearby. She just was chilling on the couch and shit. Police found a large kitchen knife with a pink handle with a red liquid on the blade. And the victim told cops when he was raced to hospital that he was stabbed because of a disagreement, a criminal complaint said. Before the alleged stabbing, Branter's boyfriend said he woke up to find messages between his girlfriend and mother that caused the argument. Branter told the police his response to seeing the text made her feel uncomfortable with him being in her home near her daughter. What? He returned home from work the next day, at which point Bratner allegedly chased him into the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and attacked him and tore his whole shirt off, the complaint said. The 22-year-old continued attacking her boyfriend as he tried to collect his possessions and swung a couple of times and sliced him on the left bicep and his chest, the cop said. This bitch right here. Well, it looks like you ain't getting married now, bitch. No way. I mean, you never know. Brantner allegedly carried on attacking her boyfriend when he went down into their basement when she swung the knife 2 more times. At that time, he felt the knife in his neck. And Brantner backed away from him as he fell to his knees in pain, the complaint said. Detectives interviewed both Brantner and her boyfriend after the alleged attack, and both repeatedly admitted to assaulting the other during the heated argument. This is why I say, man, relationships can get crazy. So they were hitting each other, but she's the one that initially pulled out the knife, and it seems like she's the one that started. And I would have hit your ass too. You pull a knife on me. I'm gonna tell you right now. Bitch, if you even act like you're gonna, if you even flinch at me like you're gonna hit me, I'm knocking you the fuck out. I'm warning you now. Any woman, any man, anybody, letting you know before you hang around me, before you suck my dick, before you fuck me, before you drink a beer with me, I'm warning you. Anyone. I don't give a fuck if it's an old lady. I don't give a fuck what it is. I don't give a fuck what it is. I believe in protecting myself at all times against all people, period. So I'm not surprised he hit her at all. Anyways, Brantner said he pushed the victim first, but said it escalated as she was shoved back before they began to fight back and forth. Yeah, so she went after him first. She claimed her boyfriend hit her on the face and nose, and according to the complaint, told officers she was afraid her partner would batter her. Were you afraid when you pushed him? Bitch, if you don't want your face knocked off, don't put your hands on nobody. At one point during the argument, Brantner's boyfriend taunted her that she was not going to win and laughed that she was going to get her daughter taken away, which she probably should. She allegedly admitted to cutting her boyfriend's neck and ear with the knife, but insisted that she quickly grabbed a towel and applied pressure to stop the bleeding when she saw he had been cut. When asked by the officers why she had been sat nearby when they arrived, she told them she wanted to wait with her daughter to avoid being accused of fleeing the scene. After being taken into custody, she was charged with first-degree recklessly endangering... What? First-degree recklessly endangering safety using a dangerous weapon in a domestic abuse. So why isn't this bitch charged with attempted murder or aggravated battery? She boasted a $3,500 bond and told her to stay away from him. Now, she does face 30 years in prison, but my question is why in the fuck wasn't this bitch charged with attempted murder or aggravated assault? This is crazy. That is bizarre. Let's see what the news is talking about.
A woman is charged for stabbing her boyfriend over a wedding venue. 22-year-old
crazy bitch
charged with first-degree reckless injury. The incident happened last Wednesday. Now, according to the criminal complaint, officers went to a home in Brookfield for a domestic incident. A victim says he was stabbed in the neck by his girlfriend. He says they had a disagreement about possibly using their house as a wedding venue, and she attacked him.
Without
Used
warning.
a knife. Detectives say he had 4 injuries. The victim admitted to hitting Branter. Fox 6 reaching out to the victim today, but he said he did not want to talk to us about the case.
Man, fuck that. Well, I mean, of course he admitted to hitting her. He was getting stabbed to death. Man, I'm telling you, these women are crazy, man. We got another crazy story. Tiny foot sticking out of shallow grave belongs to 9-year-old boy killed by mom who fled the state. A grisly discovery in a Detroit backyard has sent shockwaves through the community after the tiny foot of a little motherfucker was seen protruding from the shallow grave. It led police to uncover the remains of a 9-year-old boy allegedly murdered by his own mom. The woman, 41-year-old Brandy Catrice Pierce, fled the state in what authorities believe was a calculated attempt to escape. Well, good analysis. But she is now in custody. Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy revealed the harrowing details of the case at the press conference on Wednesday. According to investigators, Pierce allegedly bound her son's hands and feet before smothering him and burying his lifeless body behind her rental home in northwest Detroit before vanishing to Georgia, let me guess, Atlanta, with her surviving 3-year-old son. The tragedy only came to light on January 6 when a landlord preparing the home for a new tenant stumbled upon a horrific scene and noticed the human remains protruding from the dirt in the backyard. Police were quickly on the scene with Wayne County Medical Examiner's Office later ruling the death a homicide. Confirming the child, identified as Zamar King III, had died from the compression to his neck and smothering. Authorities believe the murder occurred in October of 2024. She just threw a kid, buried his little ass in the Detroit backyard and then left. That's wild, man. Pierce left the home only weeks later, finally abandoning the Detroit house on November 6th and traveling to Cobb County, Georgia, exactly, where she was living in an apparent homelessness with her child. A breakthrough in the case came in December, days before Christmas, when police in Brookhaven, Georgia, initiated an unrelated investigation concerning Pierce's younger son. During the inquiry, authorities made contact with the Detroit police, setting off a chain of events that ultimately led to the mother's arrest. Pierce was apprehended in Georgia last month on January 10th and now faces extradition to Michigan. Wow. Well, check it out. Wow. I don't even know what to fucking say about this. Once again, man. Mama, dear mama, gotta love him.
Detroit mother is charged after a disturbing discovery was made in a Detroit neighborhood. 41-year-old Brandy Pierce is now charged with
Sharkeisha, doing Sharkeisha shit.
Murder after that discovery. Take a look at video from last month. 1 month ago, in fact, we were on the scene of police finding human bones in the backyard here on Detroit's west side. And now we're learning it was the body of her 9-year-old son. Sean Lay is following this story for us tonight outside of DPD headquarters. Sean, what's the latest on this?
Latest is we have the details of this awful situation, but I want you to listen closely to the reaction we're getting from people who know this mom.
Too many attacks on our children.
Yes.
It's nonstop. And then here, why? And she moved to Georgia allegedly and left him there.
That's terrible, and I'm glad they
just left her little son as like he was trash in the fucking, just buried behind some house in Detroit. That is wild.
I'm glad they caught her.
A woman who knew Brandy Pierce reacting with me while seeing that shallow grave Pierce is now accused of burying her 9-year-old son Zamar in after allegedly choking the boy to death.
I didn't even know she had children. I've never seen children here, no signs of children.
Damn.
Nothing.
Well, to be fair, she's killing them all.
I can't say she was a nice lady. I can't say she was a bad lady, but that's terrible. And people don't do stuff.
What do you mean you can't say she was a bad lady? She literally killed her kid and buried him in the fucking garden. Well, Detroit don't have gardens, but you get the point.
Okay.
The timeline, early January, the landlord of this home on Woodingham saw a child's foot sticking out of the ground.
Damn!
Identified as Zamar King. It was determined his mother allegedly...
She just had that little dude buried surface level.
...killed him and buried him back in October. Brandy Pierce was found just days ago.
Where was the dad? Oh, that's right. That's the one holiday y'all don't celebrate.
Being held on drug and theft charges down in Georgia. Wayne County prosecutor Kim
Drug
Worthy says
charges.
the motive here is known, but will not be shared until Pierce is brought back to Detroit.
I am not going to do that.
Damn.
You'll find out in court.
Back till I find out
the
about
motive.
that motive in court when Pierce is brought back here from Georgia. It's unknown when that will happen. It will be soon. She's facing murder and child abuse charges. There's a 3-year-old, but she also had a 3-year-old boy who's safe now in foster care.
There he goes.
Downtown Shawn Lake, local.
So the 3-year-old ain't with his dad? So neither one of them's dad with their dad? It's the one holiday they don't celebrate. That's right. Okay, there's another video on it. Let's check this out. Mother charged with killing 9-year-old son, burying him in the backyard. Let's see if there's any more information in this one. Let's see.
Well, turning now to a heartbreaking story on Detroit's west side, where a mother is charged in the murder of her 9-year-old son. Zamar King's remains were discovered in the backyard of his home on Woodingham Drive near Outer Drive in Livernois last month. We've been following this story since those remains were found, but today we learn this tragic case stretches back even further. 7 News Detroit reporter Randy Wimbley has more from police, prosecutors, and a neighbor who knew the family.
I bet it better not be that same
believe they've gotten to the bottom of a
neighbor.
grim discovery at this home on the city's west side. A little boy's body was found buried behind this garage. His mother is now accused of killing him.
I want to talk about a case of a young boy named Zamar King III.
Wayne County prosecutor Kim Worthy levying charges against 41-year-old Brandy Pierce for the murder of her 9-year-old son.
The cause of death found by the medical examiner was smothering and neck compression.
Authorities believe it happened in October of last year. Zamar's remains were not found until January 6th of this year, buried behind a garage at the rental home on Woodingham, where Pierce lived with Zamar and her other son.
Like this dumb bitch buried him in the back of a rental home, knowing that your ass can't afford that rental home. Like, you knew you was about to get caught. You knew you was about to get caught.
Son said to be 3 years old.
It's alleged that she purchased a shovel. She bound him by tying his hands and feet together.
Damn.
And dug a hole in the background of the house on Woodingham, where she had been living for a short time.
Sources tell me Pierce moved into the house in early September of 2024.
It's sad, though. It's really sad that she...
It's sad, though. It's sad, though.
That happened.
One neighbor who did not want to be identified recalled an encounter with Pierce back in early November. She knew something was wrong. It was a month after authorities say Zamar was murdered.
As a woman, I'm looking. I'm like, are you okay? She's like, yeah. And then she was standing there.
What does that mean, as a woman? I was looking. This whole goddamn video is about how women are dangerous as fuck.
She would walk back. She stand there, walk back. So maybe something was wrong with her. I don't know. Or maybe she was dealing with the issue of what she did.
Sources tell me the landlord went to the home to do some maintenance 2 days before Thanksgiving and found the home vacant. Pierce fled the state to Georgia with her 3-year-old son, where Worthy says he is now in foster care. Public records show Pierce was arrested in Brookhaven, Georgia, for cruelty to children in the first degree on December 20th. Pierce was
Damn, she was out there she was about ready to kill the other motherfucker.
Arrested again in Cobb.
Look at that big ass bitch. 228 pounds. I told you they average 100. Sharkeisha's average 189.7 pounds on average. Big as fuck. 5'6", 228 pounds. Just a motherfucking middle linebacker. Hideous, gross.
County, Georgia, on January 10th. For possession of a controlled substance and theft. Meanwhile, here in Wayne County,
we are charging Brandy Catrice Pierce today with 1 count of murder in the first degree premeditation.
Yeah, she's
Count 2 is homicide felony murder.
The Detroit Police Department works relentlessly on behalf.
Well, I would like to think that all murders are felonies.
For victims, and we are confident that there will be accountability.
What the hell going on
Pierce is
here?
in custody in Georgia. Investigators are working to get her extradited back here to Wayne County, where she will face those murder charges. I'm Randy Wimbley, 7 News Detroit.
Today what you got, man, is 3 different stories, 3 different women. two of them, Sharkeisha's, murdered their kids. That woman, right, the white woman, she stabbed her boyfriend in the neck and then stayed there and helped him survive. You see the difference? I'm just saying. There's two of them murdered their children. One got into a fight with her boyfriend and was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me say it." You know, she's going to end up sucking her boyfriend's dick again. That's a fact. That's a fact. The other two ooga boogas, they're going to prison for a long time. They're fucked. Unfortunately. Well, I mean, no, fortunately. You know what? Trump's going to start sending motherfuckers to Venezuela, or where was it? Some shit like that, to their Supermax prison. That's what we bring back the boat. Bring back the boat. All right, guys, I'm out of here, man. These are your 3 stories for today. Just a little bit of crime stories. I decided to put it over here instead of JB Gunner TV. I got to get up out of here and get some more content from my other channels. Love you guys, man. If you like what I do here and you find my content valuable, feel free to hit the links down below. Let me know what you think about these 3 stories. You bitches are going wild these days. Don't worry. I know men commit crimes too. I get it. But nobody ever focuses on the broads. The broads are dangerous. You got good pussy, but you're dangerous. Usually the more dangerous, the better the pussy. That's the truth. Except for them fat bitches. The fat Sharkeishas, they